What's up, everybody? If you've ever watched any of my content on YouTube, it's probably been video game related from me collecting, buying, selling, and trading games for the last 15 years. Or if you're a really old viewer, I used to have a small Halloween prop company and I would film videos about that and doing haunted houses. Well, one thing that I really haven't talked a whole lot about over the years on my YouTube channel is like my main career, which is working in the music industry. And the last 20 years of that have been mainly with the band Korn. So I wanted to make this video just showing some of the stuff that I've collected over the years while on tour, off tour, basically anything music related that has been a part of my life. Before we get started though, we need your help real quick. The algorithm has not been a big fan of our channel for the last 2 months. So anything you can do on this video, if you can like it, comment, if you can obviously be subscribed, but also hyping the video. Apparently that is a new thing that YouTube wants. If you're watching on a mobile device, you can give hype points that do something. I don't know what it really does.
YouTube needs it,
but they need it apparently. So please do all those things. It would be a big help. Support the channel. All right, we're going to start this video actually at the end of this hallway. We're starting with this box because this is basically the start of my touring career. And also, Katie is filming this, obviously. Hi. So you'll hear little sounds and hopefully contributions to these stories. So in this shadow box is everything 2006 related to like Korn and myself. And prior to this time, or up until this point, Katie and I were on the Korn street team.
We were so cool.
We were. It was awesome. Yeah, basically their fan club, if you don't know what a street team is. They would send us promotional materials like posters and flyers and stuff, and we would go out to other shows, pass them out, promote like new upcoming albums. And then we also got the opportunity to join forces with like the local radio station a few times to do like bigger events. Well, this year, Katie and I went to like 3 Korn shows, and at one of those shows, we were lucky enough to have been given meet and greet passes from the street team. Actually, we might have gotten meet and greets twice that year.
Yeah.
But the last one of those, we were talking to Monkey, one of the guitar players, and he basically was saying, hey, I always see you guys at our shows. You're always wearing your street team shirts and looking so cool. But mainly he's like, you guys don't seem crazy or extra weird. So I took that as a compliment. And then he said, I want to start a street team for my small independent record label that
Emotional Siphon.
Yeah, Emotional Siphon was the name of the label. He was just starting it at that time. So he asked me if I wanted to create a street team and do promotions for the label. I said, hell yes. I could not believe that he was giving me his like contact information and I was possibly going to be working for him. So then this box, we'll go back to the box real quick, has a few different items in there that are very interesting, mainly because there's 2 microphones in there. Well, up until this point, Head, the other guitar player, was in the band. Here, step down off your little stool, Katie. Katie is standing on a stool. I want you to get a little closer. There you go. So this microphone over here, Head was in the band. This was one of the last shows that he was a part of. And right at the end of the show, he rips the microphone off the stand and walks over and hands it to me and says, here you go, bye. I was like, that was so weird. The only reason why I could think that he did that is during the show, I could see he was having like a rough time. He is well documented where he had a bad drug problem. He left Korn for like 7 years. But at this point in his career, he was not doing very well. And I just said some words of encouragement like, hey man, it's all right. It'll be better. You know, you're doing good. Because I could tell he was struggling. So I think that's why he gave me it. And talking to him now, you know, I've worked for him now for a long time. He doesn't really remember that time. So he gave me this microphone. Fast forward into 2006, I'm talking to Monkey about Head giving me this microphone like right before he left the band. And he's like, really? Oh, okay, that's weird. I kind of remember a crew member saying something about a microphone going missing. So I just said, yeah, you should give me a microphone too. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. Totally thinking he's joking, you know. At the end of, I think it was the West Palm Beach show, he pops off the microphone, throws it at me, And I'm like, holy shit.
He actually did it.
He actually did. I now have 2 microphones from Korn. Weird collectible items for sure. I ended up getting the one that Monkey gave me signed by the whole band. And then the other stuff that's in here. David was still the drummer during that time, so one of his sticks, and then a couple guitar picks from those tours, and obviously one of our meet and greet passes. So this is the start of me getting hired in 2006 by Monkey at the very end. It's now 2026, so this is 20 years ago and the beginning of my touring life. At the beginning of 2007, I was working from home, creating the street team, getting members to join from across the country, and making the materials, designing them and stuff that I was going to send out to all these people. But I wasn't on tour yet, and I really wanted to be out on tour, so I had to think of a way to make that happen. So it just so happened that Katie and I were going to be on a vacation out in California.
Visiting family.
My
uncles.
Yeah, visiting family out there. But that's where the label was based. So I contacted the vice president of the record label, and I said, hey, can we meet up? Just say hi, maybe have a dinner or something. And I was like, hey, if one of the bands, there was a band called Droid that was on the label, I'm making materials for them, promotional materials. I'd love to show it to them in person. So they came to the dinner too. My agenda, though, was to somehow convince them and the vice president to let me go out on the upcoming Family Values tour that Droid was going to be on with Korn. I managed to make that happen. I convinced them that...
You're good at that.
Yeah. I convinced them to have me out there as a representative on the road. I could promote, at each venue, and I could set up a booth and sell the merchandise for the band, for the record label, and maybe even do meet and greets, that kind of stuff. So it worked. So my first tour I ever went on was the 2007 Family Values tour. There's my pass. On the back it says Droid. So while I wasn't directly on tour with Korn, riding with Korn, I was on tour with Korn with Droid. So, and then back then, I'm 21 years old, so I'm super excited to just meet every band I can and try to get as many things signed. And I want all these drum heads. My original plan was to get at least one drum head from every tour I ever did. Well, there are less than 10 up here, and I've done way more tours than that. So basically what happens is I realized you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the person that is always bugging people for autographs, and you're there to work. I did end up getting some pretty cool signed drum heads though. So some of the highlights, my favorites. This is signed by Rob Zombie and his wife Sherry.
Yay.
She was awesome.
She's so cool.
Very nice lady. This over here has Vinnie Paul's signature. He was the drummer for Pantera. That is a drawing of me that Vinnie Paul drew. On this tour, he was drumming for Hell Yeah, and this has a little backstory to it. We were in a Walmart at 2 o'clock in the morning after one of the shows, just grocery shopping. But
as one does.
Yeah, as one does, But Vinnie Paul was buying fishing gear, so he had 10 poles and nets and all types of stuff in his cart. And we had a scantily clad lady in a bikini shopping with us at the time. She was on the tour, I think, running one of the game booths, in the carnival section. So it was just a nonstop party, craziness, a carnival circus atmosphere, but a family vibe too, a little bit.
Rock stars,
Yeah, rock stars. You can see there are tons of stickers and patches. Not all of those came, here, come over this way, Katie. Not all of those came from being on tour. Some came from back in the days when I worked at Hot Topic. I worked there for 8 years. But a lot of these did come from the bigger festivals, the merch booths, what the bands were selling. I'd be I'd pick up a couple here and there. The other bands would be hey, you want any of our stuff? And you're yeah, hell yeah, I'll take a sticker or a patch or whatever. So that makes up a good chunk of this wall for sure. But mixed in, you can see there are a lot of guitar picks. I would say total, I probably have maybe 500 guitar picks. They're not all up on these walls. I've already put so many holes in them, and I'm trying to keep everything above a certain height just so like when you're vacuuming or when the cat is playing, they're not going to get all knocked off the walls. But I will add more, I'm sure.
You haven't said what they're actually held up with.
Yeah, they're from far away you can't really tell, but they're held up with push pins, little clear push pins. So there are 1,000 little holes in these walls. Here, come this way. But some of the like highlighted pics I want to show. So up here,
I'm too short for
you can do it. I have faith. Up here is every pic from every day of a tour that we did. This is a Korn tour, and Head wanted a different pic for every city. So you can see there's just everything from Back to the Future. You're stepping on me. We got, here, come over here. We got Spaceballs. We got Ice Cube and Iced Tea as a beverage. Simpsons, horror characters, just a little bit of everything. But that's every pic from that tour.
Hey, Ace Ventura. He's the best
sorry,
one. You didn't
point out
mention him.
Ace Ventura, yes. And then other pics I want to mention. Apparently, Head loves guitar picks, and he loves putting crazy designs on them. I have every Jumbo Head pick that he's ever made. He throws these out into the crowd. They're technically coasters.
Yeah, they're huge.
But the company that makes these, they make regular size guitar picks, and then they make these as just like, silly advertisement pieces for their company. But then Head was like, I want to throw those out into the crowd and play.
So he gets stacks of them.
Yeah, play a couple notes, with it on his guitar, and then chuck them out in the crowd. So he's done tons of different goofy images. But this lady right here,
Dun, dun.
who's that, Katie?
Who is it?
Me. That's Katie. So back up. So this is Katie's prom photo.
Yep.
With the Zoo Tampa logo where she worked for 15 years in the background.
So random.
Very random. And Head surprised me with that. It's for a festival. I think that was for the Aftershock Festival.
Aftershock, yep.
And he's filming me and he goes, hey, did you see my new pic? And it was like a Coneheads pic. I'm sure there's one up here somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, I saw the new pic. And I'm like, why are you filming me? And he's like, no, did you see the other new pic? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he hands me the pic, and I look at it.
Well, you look at the Aftershock first. You're like,
the other side says
Aftershock. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I'm like, yeah, Aftershock, cool. And he goes, flip it over. I flip it over, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even realize that he
didn't even recognize me.
He took the photos off of her Instagram and combined and made a pic. So we had probably like 50 of these jumbo pics, and then 100 or 200 of like the normal size guitar picks that were thrown out just at that concert. But Katie was a part of a Korn show.
And now random people have this
all over, all over the world.
No idea why.
People have this pick. Cause I've given some out. Obviously, people had it at the show. They got it at the show. So, but yeah, my face isn't on any Korn picks yet.
Nope.
And it probably never will be.
Head loves me more.
Yeah. When you're on tour, you get a pass or a laminate.
They get you around.
Yeah, and
security lets you in.
Yeah, they won't kick you out if you have your pass on you. And I have a little over 150 passes, and I know that because I counted them last night. And I've done way more shows than that, though. I've probably done like 2,000 shows, but you don't get a pass for every show. The idea is when you're on a tour, you get one laminate for the whole tour, but then if you do like a festival or a special event, there'll be a pass or like maybe a wristband.
Specific for that.
Just for that. So I wanted to at least show you a few of my favorites from over the years. So come here. This one is technically from Ozzy's last real show. It is not from the one from less than a year ago, right before he passed away. That one is considered his last event, last show, but it was definitely a very shortened performance, and he was sitting down for it. This was his last actual rock performance, jumping around. It was technically like an Ozfest event. It was a New Year's Eve event also, so Ozzy counted us into the new year twice because he started the first one too early, apparently. So it says Ozzy Osbourne on it, but then it also says Jonathan Davis on it because we were on one of John's solo tours. So John is the singer for Korn, and he had just put out a solo album at that time. So the pass says both Jonathan Davis and Ozzy Osbourne, so it's kind of double extra cool there. And then scoot this way. So Korn is on a management team called Velvet Hammer. Velvet Hammer manages multiple huge rock bands: System of a Down, Deftones, Alice in Chains, Avenged Sevenfold, Incubus, AFI. It's pretty crazy, the bands that they manage, and they do a great job because all these bands are just
huge.
They're huge still to this day, and they're kicking ass. We have had the privilege of doing multiple tours and shows with System of a Down. These shows are always massive. We did 2 nights in right outside of New York City with System of a Down. I just love the art design on this pass,
cool.
and then also my face is on the back
look
of
at
it. Look how you don't have to get that close. Come on. And then here's another one, like System of a Down and Korn, like West Coast tour back in 2022, 2021, System of a Down. So I've gotten the privilege of doing a lot of stuff with them, and they're awesome guys. They're good friends, of Korn as well. One more pass. Oh, let's show. So you tend to get passes for bands that are not the band you actually work for if you're on a tour that they're headlining. So like Slipknot was the headliner for this tour, so all of our passes said, Slipknot support. So I have my face on the back of one Slipknot pass.
A little different.
Yeah, a little different. A little
Older.
like 50 pounds heavier there at that time. But yeah, so it's cool to have things like that. And the one right behind it is actually a Red Hot Chili Peppers Friends and Family pass for when we got to go see Red Hot Chili Peppers and hang out backstage with them as well. I have a lot of drumsticks. I've put some of them up on the walls. You can see sort of just wherever they would fit in these nice little
perfect little slit.
Yeah, these nice little thin spots. Obviously, Korn, Chevelle, Deftones, some System of a Down sticks over here. But I have a lot of sticks I have not gotten up on the walls yet.
I wonder why.
Yeah, just kind of
no room.
space. I mean, I have a bag of just random sticks in here. I know like there's some Gojira, some Jonathan Davis sticks, and then in here, obviously, more sticks. Some are like, I have the other one on the wall, like I have pairs, but this is like Deftones one that like he smashed the hell out of, but it still looks cool. And then I love keeping a good categorized like list of stuff that I have. So like this was from before I ever even started, I think, touring. I started making this list, but this is my drumsticks handwritten list of ones that don't have like band names on them. So I could tell exactly still which they were, who they were for. So like the band Throwdown is the one with the red tip. Soulfly, Vader 5B, Nude ×2. So like this is probably like 25 years old, like when I started it. But also in this box,
That's a cooler.
it's a box that was a cooler. There's just a bunch of random things. Like I still have like tons of guitar picks that kind of need to go up on the walls. We have more guitar picks that need to go up on the walls.
Geez.
Also, some more guitar picks. A lot of these are
Those are the big ones.
Yeah, more duplicates. So I don't need to hang up 4 of the same guitar pick on the wall. But then this is just a hodgepodge of things from the road. I have a sign like Gojira set list. I still sometimes will get things signed, or if I see them signing stuff, like a band, I'm like, ooh, let me get one of those, But I'm not necessarily going to go walk around trying to get autographs. Well, there's a cat. I didn't even know where she came from.
Whoa, where'd you go?
She disappeared. So this I thought was pretty special, and I wanted to make sure that I kept it and got it signed. This is a set of strings that was stage used, played. Monkey signed it, and I wrote on there, this was in Chile, his silver guitar for 55,000 fans, which was Korn's biggest headlining show they have ever done. So this we just did, from the time when I'm filming this video, just about a month and a half ago, we were on a South American, like a Latin American tour, and we did this show. So little extra cool piece that I was like, I gotta get that, I gotta have that signed. Some other cool things in here. These were bags of peanuts that Maynard from Tool, well, this was while he was on tour with Pucifer, threw at me and Monkey while we were watching him, and you can see there's some old peanut like oil seeping through. Kind of extra gross, but it's sealed in there. It's not going to get on anything else. Katie and I had some Nine Inch Nails like guest passes. I thought that was really cool. I wasn't expecting to have like guest passes to the Nine Inch Nails show. Thanks, Monkey.
Yeah, thank you.
For a very brief period of time, literally one tour that was while on tour with Korn, I actually worked for Five Finger Death Punch. I was the bass tech. So these are the Five Finger Death Punch Army, like little Velcro badges and a Scottsquatch one they made. We had to wear like a certain like uniform while we were on stage with them. So it was like a black like Dickies long sleeve shirt and black Dickies pants, and then these were on our outfits. So I kept those. Only did that one tour. You know, like I said, it was a little side gig while on tour with Korn, and I actually did multiple things while on that tour. I had like 4 jobs basically. What else we got in here? A lot of our, you know, old concert tickets, you know, signed by different bands. Here's some stickers that were for Emotional Siphon, the record label I was working for Monkey. A few different ones of those. And then we used to get like physical tour books back in the day. So when we were out on tour, this would have all of our dates, who was on the crew, the
Before
crew members.
WhatsApp was a thing.
Exactly, before you could just do all that on your phone. Korn's 30th anniversary was a few years back. They've now been around for 33 years. And we did a lot of cool things and had some cool stuff made. This was a skate deck that was made by a European artist for the 30th anniversary, and it features a bunch of cool photos from over the years. I believe that this was sort of like a test version of this skateboard, and then there was more that were, you know, in a limited amount made afterwards. So glad I was able to get one of these. They did different colors too. There was like a pink, a green, yellow. When it comes to music-related stuff, the things I collected the most of were t-shirts and posters. T-shirts, I still have probably 10 bins worth. Mostly music, but there are video game and horror movie shirts in there as well. I would say it's 80% music, and then of that, 75% of it is Korn related shirts.
I wonder why.
Yeah, you know, you tend to gather up a lot of shirts when you work for a band for 20 years. I'm not going to go through all those shirts in this video. Maybe that'll be a future video. If you want to see that, comment down below. But about 2 years ago, I did sell off a good chunk of the music-related shirts I had. Basically, everything that was like 2XLs. Because if you remember, Katie,
You're so cool.
It was so cool
Baggy
to wear big clothes back, you know, in the late 90s and early 2000s. Well, when you lose 50 pounds and you don't want to wear,
look right anymore.
It looks like a blanket. It just looks, you know, ridiculous. So I kept all the Korn ones that I had though that were from that size, just to kind of keep the, you know, the whole Korn collection, the whole family together. But everything else that was 2X for other bands I got rid of. As for posters, I have over 1,000 music posters. That doesn't include all the other posters, like the thousands of video game posters and some movie and some anime.
Yeah.
Posters were my jam. Like when we would go on trips in like the early 2000s, especially if we were like New York or something like that, I would go to every record store trying to buy
New
posters.
posters.
But we're not going to go through all those tubes. I have probably like 60 tubes in this room. I'm not going to go through all those. We're just going to go through this one little box right now that has some really nice flat posters that are easy to go through. First on top, though, is some mobiles that would hang from like the ceiling.
Oh yeah, like Hot Topic or like record shops.
Record shops, yes. Good thing you mentioned that, because actually, before I ever worked for Korn, Mudvayne, I worked locally for some concert production companies. And this is a System of a Down, Hypnotize. That one's really cool.
That's really cool.
And I would do like ticket drops and poster and flyer drops at all the local record stores. So the concert production company would be like, "Here, Scott, here's 500 flyers, here's 50 posters. Here's, you know, go on your little route."
You would drive around at all the like record shops and stuff.
Sometimes Katie would come with me, depending on our car situation. You know, I'd have to drop her off at work and go do it. It paid like a whopping $50 a day, and it was hours of work, and the gas wasn't covered.
I was gonna say.
It was like you were doing the work because you loved it, but you would get free tickets.
Networking.
Networking, and you got free tickets to the shows. So I was able to also use that time and experience to help get a job working for Monkey because I mentioned, I
This
work
is what I do.
in concert production. I do promotions, that kind of thing. So during that time, I would pick up a lot of posters also at the record stores. Some of them are called like flats or record flats, specifically, for like vinyl, like that Tool one. And there are going to be some other things mixed in here that I've gotten in more recent years. Like this System of a Down poster is essentially just brand new from 2025. Then we have just bands Scott liked and bought posters, or sometimes got them for free. And a lot of these are like artist print ones where they're numbered. You can see on the bottom of the Slayer one, it's like 113 out of 350. There's this awesome Tool one. And there are, a lot of them are different materials, thicker paper, textured. Some are more, just basic like printed posters like these Tool ones. This Ministry and Revolting Cocks. We have Rob Zombie, another like limited number one. A bunch of record flats, Kill Switch Engage, Mudvayne. You gotta be careful not to tear them because they are like perforated. Another Tool, Lamb of God, Scum of the Earth, which was Rob Zombie's ex-guitar player at the time. We got this Ministry one's a little fragile. Some Stain. Let's see if I can get past a lot of these record flats. Mushroom Head, System of a Down, Hypnotize. And then we have a Family Values Tour 2006. So the Family Values right before I started working for them. Signed by like Monkey and Fieldy. I'm sure out by like the tour.
No, the only two that came out to say hi
Yeah,
to
by
the
the
fans.
tour buses or whatever. One is that Mastodon. We got, these are some old Korn posters at the Fillmore. Slipknot. Deftones. Some really nice like silk screen ones.
Oh, cool. Look at these Static X ones.
Power Man 5000 and Static X. Static X and Soulfly. I'm trying to read upside down. I love that one. The colors on that one are amazing. Another really old Korn and Disturbed, Trust Company, Cold Chamber. I'll flip through just a few more. Mastodon. I think another really old Korn one. Yep, the Sick and Twisted Tour. Korn. Korn. We hit a Korn vein down here. What's that last one? High on Fire. That's enough. You've seen enough posters. Maybe again someday. Maybe I'll do a 2-hour long going through 1,000 music posters video. Since the title of this video literally says like my music collection, I figured I should actually show you some actual music. So this is all the CDs that I still own, kind of hiding behind other like Korn related memorabilia and some Halloween stuff. I'll still pick up a CD every once in a while, like especially at a yard sale if it's like $1 or 50 cents. But I'm mainly listening to music these days, like on Spotify. It is still fun though to grab a CD, pop it into my car that still has a CD player. Actually, both of our cars still have CD players because the quality of the sound is different than listening to it on
streaming.
Streaming services. But yeah, a lot of CDs. Most of these are like my childhood CDs, obviously. And then, I gotta show at least one instrument. I only have a few guitars at all. I played bass myself, but I was never like super amazing at it. But I do have a couple guitars, and this one is special for multiple reasons. One, it's a signed Korn guitar, but it is not a Korn guitar. The company is Shane Targa, which is not a company that Korn has ever used. Ibanez is their most famous one. This belonged to a friend of mine named Rick, and I actually just acquired this within the last year. And Rick unfortunately passed away. He passed away of cancer, but when he was younger, he also had HIV. And he was able to go to a lot of concerts. His dad would take him to the shows, and he would frequently get to meet the bands, sometimes getting things signed. Well, this was, I guess, just a guitar they had lying around that he took to the show. He got it signed by him. I believe it was 1997. It was either 97 or maybe the beginning of like 98, right around there, because I've seen photos from when he was getting this signed as a kid, and I was trying to date it, based on certain things I was seeing in the photo. So Rick passed away, and his girlfriend was getting rid of some of the items that he had and like the family didn't want. And she said, of anybody that I know that should get the Korn guitar, it's you, for obvious reasons. So I figured, I'm like, I'll give it a new good home. It'll stay in the Korn family. But yeah, it just has an interesting story. I'm going to keep it just like this. No strings on it. A little banged up, a little dirty, just to pass on the story, and how Rick kept it for all those years. And then last up would be my small vinyl collection. And I've actually been selling off my vinyl collection over the last couple of years because I never had very many. Most of them are sealed, and a lot of them I got either while working for Hot Topic, when vinyl started having a resurgence, or when I was going to those record stores working for like the concert production companies. So it's any of these that you see are all available for sale in this box. We have like some Slayer albums. We have Deftones, 9 Inch Nails, like remix, Slipknot, and most of these are like first prints, also first pressings. Some very expensive Marilyn Manson albums, and then my small but mighty little Korn collection of vinyl over here. Let me see if I can get the box out of your way. These ones I am keeping. I'm not going to sell the Korn stuff, but like just some singles, and then I think every album, like all the main album releases that have had vinyl for them, and then some interesting stuff like this is Korn Christmas Song, and more of the full-length albums, some more singles like remixes. So yeah, my small but well-curated vinyl collection. I hope you like this video. Please comment, like, hype, do all those things.
Do the hyping.
Yeah, I hate saying it. It sounds so bad. But we appreciate your support, and yeah.
We love you guys.
We love you, and talk to you later. Peace. At the start of 2000, I don't know why I just looked out the window. At the start of 2007, that window is so open that there's a car going by and it distracted me.